And welcome back to the channel, everybody. Welcome back to a new video. And today I've got some good news. I've got some bad news. So it depends on which side of the fence you're sitting. If you bought a Dodge Charger or Challenger Scat Pack wide body or Hellcat wide body in 2023 because it was the last call and you paid top dollar for that car, if you paid MSRP for that car, if you paid a markup for that car, this is a horrible video for you to watch. It's going to make you upset. It's going to send you into a fit of depression. And you're going to be with me because I bought a Scat Pack special edition wide body with the shaker, the swinger model with the sublime green, gorgeous car. And I bought it at sticker for $66,000. I think it was $815. Only a year later, well, maybe a little more than a year later, to be sitting on a car that is depreciated. But I knew they would depreciate. I told you all they would depreciate. I walked in to buy that car knowing that it would depreciate, and I overpaid. And even had I got a $5,000 or $6,000 discount, I would still be screwed on the value of that car because that is what cars do. In this video, I'm going to take advantage of the one opportunity I get to say, I told you so. But I get to say I told you so while also swallowing the pill that I am a victim of this as well, but I'm willing to face the reality and accept the truth and swallow that pill. Unlike so many in my comments over this last couple years who were screaming that these cars were going to appreciate in value, they were going to be worth a ton of money a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, while some of them may be right 30 years from now today, they are not. And these cars are depreciating just like every other car, except EVs who depreciate way worse, but they're depreciating nonetheless. And now I wanted to show you all that you waited. If you waited on the other side of that fence, if you did not buy, but you wanted to buy a last call car and get the one with the last call badge under the hood, and now you want to. So you put it off. You said, I'm not going to pay the markups. I'm not going to pay MSRP. I'm not falling for the crap. I'm listening to Brad's videos, and you held off. Then you now have the opportunity to go get one of these cars at a significant discount with very few miles. And I wanted to share that with you today because so many of you have asked me, is it time to buy now? And I will just tell you, buying a used car, buying a new car, buying any car is like catching a falling knife. I don't know when that thing's going to hit rock bottom. I don't know. But if you try to catch it, you're going to cut yourself because the bottom line is cars depreciate. So right now you can get a car that is, let's just say, a year old, if it was mid-2023 or late 2023 delivery date, and it was already sold, so the warranty's ticking, but the car's been driven, has been rotting on a dealership, but in some cases, some of these used ones have. So I'm going to show you how to make sure you don't get burned by that. But you have an opportunity now to go pick up one of these cars at a severe, extreme discount. But if you overpaid, you're going to hurt. Let me show you what's happened with values on Scat Packs and Hellcats. All right, to start off, let's just look at the MSRP of the Scat Pack wide bodies in 2023 before markups. We know that at the beginning of the year of 2023, the tail end of 2022, when people were putting orders in for these things, they were way overpaying. That horsepower locator enabled dealers to just rip people to shreds on prices. They were collecting $10, $15, $20, even $30,000 markups on Scat Packs, and for sure on Hellcats, and the Hellcats were running $50,000 over at the beginning of 2023 and the end of 2022 when people were ordering them or trying to be the first ones to get them. And those people were falling for the story from the car salesman saying that these cars were going to go up in value, they were a good investment, and a lot of people believed that, and they paid those markups willingly, thinking that they would be making a wise financial decision. While the entire time I'm getting beat up in the comments as I'm screaming from the mountaintops in every single video saying it's not going to happen, even to my own peril in buying a car just a little over a year ago in July of 2023, somewhat after a lot of the hype when things started to cool down, and I got it for MSRP only to find myself completely screwed on the value of that car. But I knew that was going to happen. I told you all when I bought it, I knew it was going to happen. I wanted it. It was great for the channel, and frankly, it was great for me, and it brought happiness. And I've never gone to Disneyland with the family and left with money. So bottom line is you pay for the experience, and I'm happy with how it worked out. I'm not happy with the massive depreciation, but it is part of owning a car. It just happens. But let me show you what's going on. So if you know that MSRP was running in that 60 to 70, let's say the high 60s, so $67,000, $69,000 if it was special edition with all the options, if it was the Super B or something. I mean, those things were way up there. But the rest of them were high 50s, low 60s for Scat Packs, for Chargers and Challenger wide bodies. I'm only going to talk about the wide bodies because those were the most popular and the ones that were going for the highest prices. And today, here's what they're going for. And here is a nationwide look at a Charger Scat Pack wide bodies, 19,000 miles, 43,000. And these are, let's go all the way back here to the top here. Here's the sponsored posts, which are always higher prices, it seems. So in the 50s, 1,600 miles, 27,000. They're dreaming on this one. 41,000 miles. Was that 41,000? Or 4,100 miles for 52,000. And that, yep, 2023's last call cars. But here's the reality: 20,000 miles with 39,985, $41,000, 3,700 miles. And 19,000 miles, 43,000. So to give you an idea, you will be able to negotiate probably 5 to 10% or more off of these cars, depending on how long they've been on the lots. And if you notice, a lot of these dealerships are not Dodge dealerships. These cars weren't traded in. They weren't sold to the Dodge dealerships. They're coming from these like Cabrera auto sales, meaning these were probably repos. In many cases, they were bought at auction. They weren't traded in for something. These people overpaid for the cars. They're paying $1,000, $1,500 a month for a Scat Pack, and now they're completely upside down and screwed and had to belly up on the car after only 1,000 miles, or they just panicked and got out of it. But I'll tell you, none of these people paid low prices on these cars. They all paid way too much for these cars if you look back in the day. So this one's been on the market for 140 days on Car Gurus. So that tells me that no matter what, we're going to be able to get this car for a lot less than $44,000. They just dropped it, or they dropped it recently, another $5,504. I still think there's room in this car. The fact that it's been sitting there means they probably turned down some offers, which is not very bright. But the bottom line is, if you paid $60,000 range for one of these cars, or without a markup, then you are $15,000 to $20,000 underwater in a year and a half on these cars. But if you want to buy one, you're in great shape. You can get one in the low 40s, last call, 2023. Now, I remember I've heard all the people say the 2023's build quality was bad, but I'll tell you right now, those rumors have not created astigmatism on these cars, have not affected the values. The values are just what the values are. Now, with the Demon, yes, all the engines blowing, I believe those have absolutely caused astigmatism on those cars and caused those prices to torpedo. But on these, they just are what they are. It's normal depreciation. Not half as bad as electric vehicles, though. Still bad, but not half as bad as electric vehicles. Because if you watch my last video, I explain that in detail. So let's look at the Challengers. Same story, same exact story. 40s, you can go down here, 47, 47. Let's go all the way to the lowest ones. 43,000, 43,000. Wide body, shaker. I mean, these are beautiful cars. Look at that. Wide body, wide body. Here's a swinger, folks. I believe that is. Yep, that's a swinger in the white knuckle. 46,950 with only 1,000 miles on it. That's insane. So yes, I have lost money on my swinger for sure, no matter how you cut it, and it is what it is. I mean, I'm talking about $20,000 in a year and a half. That's just evaporated off of these cars. So all those salesmen who were saying, oh, it's going to go up in value, they should just be thrown in a trunk of a car and driven a very long distance in hot weather, because they certainly led people to a very, very tough financial position, at least those who believed it. Now let's go look at the Hellcats. Here's the Hellcat wide body Chargers. Now these were running in the 90s. So the Redeyes were going over $100,000 before markups. And if you were able to get a Hellcat for the 717 horsepower version for in the high 80s, you were lucky. But bottom line is, most of these, I would say 80% of these went for way over sticker, and I'm talking anywhere from $15, $20 to $50,000 over, depending on when they bought these things. And today you can get them for 81. Here's another 81, 83 with 8,000 miles, 8,600 miles. And by the way, for the California people, if you're in California and you find one of these in another state and you want to bring it to California, make sure it has more than 7,500 miles. Otherwise, you're going to have a registering problem, and save the comments about how California is California and all that stuff. It just is what it is. So these are good. 8,300 miles, 8,600 miles. These, if they're 49 state cars, can come. Otherwise, make sure they're 50 state cars. The sticker underneath the hood will tell you, and otherwise you'll get hit when you try to smog it and have to take it back out of the state, register somewhere else, or do some other gymnastics. Here you go. Here's another one, 2023, last call, 7,200 miles for 62,000, 70,000. I think we're getting there. 73,000, 74,000, 74,000. So let's just say you can probably get any of these cars for $70,000 or below. These are Hellcats. These are 1 year old, 1.5 year old, last call badged Hellcats. Wow. Now let's look at the Challengers. Same thing, 70,000, 70,000, no big difference there. But what about the Redeyes? A lot of people are going to say, but the Redeyes are really holding their value. And you know what? You're right. They've held much better because there are so many fewer of those out there. It just is what it is. Plus, I believe that there's a component of more wealthy people bought these Redeyes, because if you had to come in with $50,000 markup on these things, these are people with money, so they might not be repoing them as much, and they might not be trading them in or trying to get out of them and be willing to wait it out and just hopefully enjoy the car. Or maybe if they are speculators, they're going to sit on them for a long, long time. But the bottom line is, with the Redeye Chargers, you're still at $84,000, $89,000, $94,000, $95,000. So you can still find them in the 80s all day long, when they were probably well over $100,000, if not $120,000, $130,000, $140,000, some of these things. So you can definitely get them for less. Now, if you click on some of these, you can definitely see how long they've been on the market, and if there's any recent price reductions, and gauge whether or not that dealer would be willing to negotiate. What is interesting is these King Daytonas, like this one, that people were paying $150,000 plus for, in some cases $200,000 to get them, are $95,998 with 1,050 miles on them. That is a new car as far as I'm concerned, and it's 95 grand, and that's a special edition King Daytona. And there's a bunch of them out there, 105,000, 106,000, and these things are sitting on the market for a very long time. If you click on it, here's one for 159. This dealer's smoking dope, and if we look at what their days on the market, 391 days on the market, and they were asking 30 grand more than 159. So don't be fooled by the asking prices. Asking prices have little to do with reality of the marketplace. The marketplace is what people are going to buy them for, and not what they're listed for. And here's Redeye Challengers, same thing. Now what's interesting here, and you can see these, same thing, get some in the 80s, 90s, and then you click on, here's one for 107,994 at a, what is this, Miami Lakes Auto Mall dealership. Scroll up here and look at how long it's been on the market. This thing's 267 days at this dealership. So you can go and lowball these people until you find your dream car. And I think the Redeyes will settle down pretty quickly as more come on the market in the, I'd say, the mid to high 80s. So just under $90,000, they start to make more sense. And I know some of you say that's still way too much money, but there's just not as many of those out there. But look what happens when you scroll up a little bit. The Demons VIN numbers come back when they input these things on these CarGurus sites and on their websites as Redeyes. So they will pop up here, but you can see these are clearly Demon 170s. So let's go look at the Demon 170s. Remember when I told you all in other videos that these with no miles, delivery miles, would settle around 150 range? And you were telling me that I'm crazy. Some of you were thinking, no way, these are going to go up in value. Once they exhaust them all from the dealerships and it's harder to get them, they're going to go back up to 200 plus. No, bottom line is if they're delivery miles, you're looking at around 150. if they are used with only 1,000 miles on a Demon 170, you're looking at 135,000, 139,000, 140,000, and then you'll see when you get down to these with no miles or low miles, already registered used, meaning these were flipper cars. When you don't see any miles on them, a lot of times these were flipper cars. They have delivery miles on them, and they're 150, 154. And then you start getting the crazy people that are asking a lot more, and that does not mean at all that these cars are ever going to sell. How about the folks with the black ghosts? Not a lot of those out there, but they're never going to see $179,000 for this car. It'll never happen unless somebody's just lost their ever-loving mind. So the bottom line is, folks, the market is definitely down, and last calls did not hold their value, and special editions did not hold their value. Hellcats did not hold their value. Demons did not hold their value. I believe they're stigmatized by the engines blowing. And even the special edition Redeyes are back down to reality if you want to pick up a King Daytona. So hopefully you didn't pay a huge markup, and if you passed on them when they were overpriced, go get your car now. But Brad, should I wait? Should I wait until prices go lower? No, because the warranties are burning away as well. So it's give and take. Bottom line is enjoy the car. But now you can get it for, let's say, a Scat Pack for $20,000 less than it was brand new with very low miles and still have the factory warranty for another, let's say, year and a half, in some cases 2 years. Get the car and enjoy the car. At least it's $20,000 less than it was when it was brand spanking new. So that's where we're at, everybody. And you know what? I'm sharing this as a participant in the depreciation. I own one and have lost $20,000 in the car. And I knew that going in. I was listening to my own advice, and I understood that I'm going to pay to enjoy the car. I got it early. I got it in the middle of 2023, and I've had a blast with the thing. But bottom line is, I knew it was a car, and I knew it was going to depreciate. But those people out there who believed the salesman, believed the dealers who told them that these things were going to go up in value, have been completely fleeced and screwed, and they are not going to go back up in value unless you keep it on blocks for 20, 30 years and then try to sell it then. And what's the point? It makes no sense. There's so many better things you can invest in. But if you waited, now you have a great opportunity to save a ton of money and go get your dream car at a much better price. And keep in mind, if you're with a good credit union, a 2023, even though it's been registered and used, should still, in many cases, qualify for new car rates and new car terms. So check with your credit union. Don't just go with what the dealer has told you and jump on one of these cars if you want one and save that 20 grand. You're smart for waiting. I think I should have waited. Oh well. Take care, everybody. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.